It's no secret that I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I mean, this is a series that's carved a niche in action-adventure gaming.
Assassin's Creed 3 continues the story of Desmond and his team, who are still hiding from the modern-day Templar organisation Abstergo. Heck, I've always loved the idea of the modern-day sci-fi stuff, but in the end it's always been a bit naff, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of that chapter of the book that you really want to skip through. The real game begins in 1753, where you take the role of Haytham Kenway, a very British and well-to-do officer and assassin who's chasing down the secrets of the Templars. I love Haytham. He's kind of like a fancy pirate Sherlock, hunting for clues and getting involved in swashbuckling duels on the stormy seas. And that British turn of phrase is just so good.
My apologies.
I have to say though, for a posh British dude, he's sure got swagger.
There's your knife back.
But this isn't the game's main protagonist. Setting up an entirely new character in a new setting takes time, and it is a slow burn, but it's so worth it.
Oh, it takes so long to get going. Haytham's stuff is short but exciting, and it does provide the necessary foundation for the rise of a new hero. A half-English, half-Mohican lad with a Native American name no one can actually pronounce, so he takes on the English name of Connor.
The Assassin-Templar War has its roots firmly entangled in the colonial unrest, with Connor's only choice being to join the Brotherhood and follow in the footsteps of his ancestors before him.
You begin Connor's life as a child and then a teenager, and this sets the stage for all that assassin-y bitterness and angst that fuels the vengeance we love them for. But also as a way to get used to some of the new features the game introduces. Being Mohican, Connor has a unique set of skills even before he begins his assassin's training, and they're a joy to make use of. Hunting is a major feature in the game, and you're armed with an array of tools like snares, a bow and arrow, and getting lost in the wild is something you'll do often when you're fixing for a bear fight.
Your homestead is nestled high in the hills, and you'll soon get the lay of the land because the land is just so wonderful to explore. We all know assassins are famous for their rooftop freerunning, but growing up in the forest means that Connor can soar through the treetops with even more ease. Just when I thought that freerunning couldn't get any more fun, Barjo.
Yeah, I was worried about the tree climbing stuff, but they've nailed it, haven't they? Trees are artfully placed in the landscape to make leaping from branch to tree fork simple and intuitive. Often he'll naturally head in a direction or swing from a branch, while all you have to do is hold the trigger and keep him on course.
I know I'm being a bit romantic, but they've really thought about this character and where he comes from and how he would interact with his environment, and it makes for such good gaming.
Yes, but while Connor may be king of the hill, it's the city where he gets in the most trouble. This is where the action is, and where things get a lot trickier.
May I ask why you seek him, Connor?
He intends to purchase the land upon which my village stands.
As you team up with allies to help you take down the Templars and ultimately save your home, you'll take on tailing and eavesdropping missions, sabotage, assassinations, with similar optional objectives that were introduced in Brotherhood to achieve full synchronization at mission completion.
Prepare yourselves.
I was actually really pleased to see that they've made all this quite a bit harder. I mean, gone are the days where gawking, obvious hiding spots are everywhere for you to seek refuge in. Guards are relentless in their pursuit. Put a toe out of line and your notoriety goes through the roof, so guards will attack on sight, making it impossible to get around the city, unless you do some crafty bribing. And this raises the stakes in nearly every mission. You know, in previous games I had all these gadgets, but I so rarely used them. But here your tripwires, poison darts and smoke bombs are all tantamount to success. And using them cleverly to pick off guards chilling out on the fringes of a camp just make you feel so damn smug.
And it's always still so stressful when that attention marker goes yellow and you know they've spotted you.
Yeah, and you still can take cover when that happens, but they will search the area, so you have to be careful.
He's off!
Once that marker goes to red though, there's no hiding from anyone. You either need to get far, far away, or someone's gotta go. And usually achieving full synchronization involves not killing anyone or not taking any damage, but honestly they've made the combat system so fluid that I rarely wanted to take the passive way out.
Yeah, the fighting's really solid, isn't it? Slick swordplay with Haytham, his fighting style is elegant yet deadly, but Connor has good counters and finishes with his tomahawk. Fights vary depending on your opponents, and just when you get into a good place with timing those counters, you'll encounter tougher foes that seem to counter your counters at every turn. It's then that you can make clever use of your other weapons to give yourself an advantage. I had a great time with the rope dart. What a spectacular weapon.
Oh no, not much care neither. Beat scope.
Yes, they've had 4 games to perfect that fighting system, so it really does feel like it's now at a point where it's well and truly finessed. I didn't find myself using the guns that much though. I mean, they take so long to repack and load, plus you can't carry that many bullets, and there were no silencers in the 1700s, so it's not great for stealthy work.
Yeah, I wanted to like the guns more, but I found that the rifle was particularly buggy, and it might just be because we're not on the final code of this game, so we have to wait and see on that one.
As Connor gets deeper into the Revolution, you'll start to take part in some larger scale fights, and these were all integrated really well, I thought. You know, in previous games they had those kind of weird RTS sections, and they all just felt a bit tacked on.
Prepare yourself. Fire!
Here, you'll seamlessly slip from your regular missions to commanding squads of soldiers on a battlefield, dodging cannon fire, or finding yourself caught on the high seas juggling speed and ammunition fighting ship to ship.
There is still all of your standard Assassin's Creed fare: treasure, viewpoints and freefalls, side missions and collectibles, and this will keep fans of the series happy because it keeps things familiar.
I just want to know how this story unfolds.
Yeah, they've kept just enough of that original formula in there to make it feel like the next chapter of the series, but where this game really shines, I think, is in all the ways that it's managed to set itself apart. Like Ezio, Connor is a character we very quickly align ourselves with, and he makes for the perfect brooding hero.
Then what would you propose we do? Sit and watch while the Templars take control? We are sworn to stop them, or have you forgotten?
But what I find so impressive time and time again with these games is that the story and setting just don't feel so sophisticated to me. I mean, taking a fictional idea and putting it in this historical setting and then carrying it out so artfully just makes me so excited about video games as a medium. And I'm thrilled to see how far character performances have come as well. The motion capture and character acting in this game is a real standout. Subtle nuances in the eyes and face from the actors' performances come through now, and it's just gripping to watch.
I know that the people wish to be free, and that men like Washington fight to make it so.
Please, the man is weak. He stumbles and stammers through each engagement, making it all up as he goes along. Pedigree is pathetic, his military record even more so.
Multiplayer is back with new maps and modes. Sadly, we couldn't test it out with our code, but I don't know, Hex, I've always found the multiplayer to be a bit take it or leave it with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed multiplayer myself, but I know some people love it. But we should wrap this up, Barjo. Final thoughts?
Yes, well, you know, I was very worried about this game because they just kept pumping those Assassin's Creeds out. But this one has been bubbling away in the background through all of that, and what they've managed to put forward is something fresh and new while still staying true to the series' roots. It's not perfect. There are some frustrating filler missions and some clipping issues with the animations, which might just be our review code, but I think this is a satisfying sequel, and I think fans will be more than happy. I'm giving it 9 out of 10 rubber chickens.
It takes you on such a journey. They picked a really exciting setting to throw the player into, and you really do feel like a part of it. The only thing I missed were those awesome jumping puzzle caverns. I was sad to see those go, but still there is so much new here and yet so much that feels familiar. It's the perfect evolutionary step. It has its issues. Every Assassin's Creed game has had a few, but even so, with this installment, it remains one of the best franchises I've ever played, so I'm giving it 9.5 out of 10 rubber chickens. Now, Barjo, did you know the Bond film franchise turns 50 this year?
I did know that, Hex, because we have quite a few rabid Bond fans in the office. The films have always been successful, but the games have always been a bit hit or miss.
As 00 Agent Goose investigates.